Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Em and welcome to a new vlog. So last week was Summerween and it was so much fun. I read a couple books I really loved. I read some others that were kind of like mid, but it felt like a full sprint of a week reading wise. I was reading really quick. I was trying to get through as many things as possible and I need like a slow, lazy reading week. And so that's what this vlog is going to be. And so that's what I really want this vlog to be, is just a slow down, a really sinking into the books I'm reading, a very like slow summer kind of reading vlog. So I hope you're down for that. It sounds really nice to me. As always, it's gonna be a busy week because it's always a busy week, but I'm hoping I can find pockets of slowness and of calm in amongst all the busyness. So yeah, it's Monday, my favorite day to start a vlog. I have to go to work very shortly, but then after I get off work, the kids and I are gonna go to a playground. I'm gonna bring the new outdoor chair that I got for my birthday that I'm so excited to sit in, and hopefully I'll get some reading in. I think some friends are going to meet us there as well, so it's also going to be like a lovely social time with lots of people that I dearly love. I am already reading 2 books. One I will not be finishing in this vlog. I'll tell you about that right now, but it was pulled from my TBR jar, and I figure if I start it today and I read about 50 pages a day, I can finish it before the end of July. And it's A Day of Fallen Night. It's so much heavier than I thought it was gonna be. Anyways, this is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. I read Priory of the Orange Tree back when it first came out, and this has been on my shelf since it came out. And the TBR jar chose it for me, and so I'm starting it. I'm on chapter 2. Wow. There is like a prologue situation, so I'm like 32 pages in. And it's okay. It's okay so far. I'm not super invested. I haven't read a Samantha Shannon book since I read Priory, so I think I just need a little while to like get back into her writing. But what does it say about this? We spent the first part of the book getting introduced to these 3 women, these 3 queens, and like their births, and then I think we got the birth of our main character, Tenuva, and now who is a sister of the Priory from Priory of the Orange Tree, and now we've skipped ahead to where she is in her 30s, or is 30, and we're gonna go from there. I don't know what happens in this book at all, and I'm gonna kind of keep it that way, but it is a thing I started. And then the other thing that I already started that I am 26 pages into. I've only been reading it before I go to bed, which is not my best reading time, so I need to put some daylight hours into it. But it is Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon, or Thea Guanzon. And this is a book, a Critical Role book, which is a Dungeons and Dragons thing, or related thing, adjacent thing. And Tusk Love is a romance novel that exists within the Critical Role world, and so this is that book. I have never played Critical Role. I'm a D&D fan, but I don't play. But I thought this sounded so fun, and it's the book that was chosen for July for the SFF book club that I'm lurking in. But I thought it was so cool that this is the regular dust jacket. And then there is like the dust jacket of the book as it exists, as it would exist in Critical Role. So here's the cover, and then the description on the inside of the dust jacket, and then over here is like all this praise from like fictional people, and then the fictional author's bio, which I just was like, this is so fun. Like, what a fun concept. I just love it. It makes me so happy, even if I end up not loving the book. Like, just the concept of this as a thing, I think, is really delightful. So those are my 2 reads so far. And like I said, for this one, I'm not very far in, but we've met Guinevere, who is like a noble, or she's the daughter of a merchant, and she's supposed to marry into a noble house to like raise up her family station and increase their wealth. And then Oscar, who is half orc. And at the beginning, Guinevere is attacked by thieves. Yes, her caravan is beset by bandits. My apologies. And her guards are slain, and Oscar kind of rescues her, and she hires him to take her back home. And Oscar thinks she's royalty or nobility and is like too fragile to be existing in the world and is just like a snobby lady. And Guinevere thinks Oscar hates her, which he kind of does. I mean, because he has, you know, incorrect assumptions. But anyways, those are the thoughts so far. I gotta finish getting ready for work, and my child is lurking behind the camera, so I will talk to you later. But welcome to the vlog. It's Tuesday, and this is going to be a really short update, as per usual, I feel like, because my kids are about to have a friend come over. But I am not super stoked about either of my current reads. There's nothing wrong with them, I don't think. I think they're both perfectly fine books, and like reading them is perfectly fine, but I'm not excited about picking them up, and I would rather watch YouTube than read, which is usually a sign that I gotta change something around, because I would much rather want to read my book than watch YouTube. So that's going in the wrong direction. So I need to kind of look at my stack of books that are on my radar and see what I'm interested in, because like I want this to be a slow, restorative week of reading, but I also want to be like excited about what I'm reading at the same time. So I'm in a little bit of a conundrum, and I don't quite know what to do about it. So I might just end up reading the first pages of a whole bunch of things this afternoon and seeing what sounds good, what has compelling writing. These are heavy, just a minute. Oh my god. I will say, like, this is just fine, but it is definitely slow fantasy. We're building a lot. There's a lot of characters, and we're...
You can't stop the motion of the ocean or the wind from above.
What was I saying? There's a lot of characters, and we're alternating a character every chapter, and that is definitely hard on my brain, and I don't know that I'm really in the right headspace for a complicated, what I'm gonna assume is a more political fantasy. I'm not DNFing it. I'm just saying, this is not what I want at the moment. I'm gonna keep plugging away at it, but I think I'm gonna lower my expectations from 50 pages a day to whatever I can manage a day. And if I finish it in July, great. If I have to keep reading it into August, that's fine too. And then this one, I am not liking Guinevere. She has been very sheltered, and she's very trusting, and she is very naive, and it's really hard for me to read. And she's very earnest, and I'm not in the mood for an earnest character. I'm never really in the mood for an earnest book, but I'm definitely not in the mood for an earnest character. So this is also not my ideal book at the moment. Wish me luck, and hopefully I find something that is more exciting than all the Summerween vlogs that I've been watching. Hello friends, it is Wednesday. The AC is on. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but as much as I appreciate you all so much, I am not sweating for you in this heat. So hopefully it doesn't get picked up too much by the microphone, but it just is what it is, okay? I have good news. I found a book that's holding my interest and that I actively want to read more than I want to watch YouTube. So that is a win. I picked up Lost and Found by Catherine Schultz. It's nonfiction. I don't know what category of nonfiction it would go into. I don't know that it really qualifies as memoir, but we are getting Catherine Schultz's, like, a little bit of her life. This book is talking about life and death, basically. It starts with her father passing away, and it's divided up into 3 sections. The first one is called Lost, and she's talking about her father getting ill and dying, and what his life was like, where he grew up, what his family circumstances were, the kind of person he was, her relationship with him, and then what it was like to watch him get sick and die, and then what the grieving process was immediately afterwards. And y'all, I knew I was going to be emotionally impacted by this book because I got it on my radar because Katherine Schultz was on an episode of the Ezra Klein podcast, and the way she talked about her dad on the podcast had me in tears. In Planet Fitness, I was crying while I was doing my workout because of the way she talked about her dad on the podcast. So I knew this was gonna be a little bit of an emotional gut punch, and I was not incorrect. Reading how she talked about her dad was so beautiful and poetic and moving, and there's part of me that wishes I had a physical copy of this because I would be underlining the crap out of it, but I don't know that this is necessarily going to be a book that I ever go and reread. It's a tough book for me to read because my parents are, I mean, I don't think of them as old, but like objectively I recognize they are getting older and they are watching this, so hi. It's something that I think about on a semi-regular basis, that I'm gonna try not to cry, that my parents aren't gonna be here forever, and that is really scary and sad. And I love them both so much, and just the idea that they will not be in my life for the rest of my life is really hard, and it makes me really sad. And so reading from somebody else who also dearly loves her parents, I don't know, it was lovely and sad and wonderful and heartbreaking, and like I can't even describe appropriately how much this is resonating with me and the things that she has to say about grief and loss and what it means to have a parent die. Okay, so I finished part 1 and I'm on to part 2, which is called Found. And this section, just a little bit into it, but she's talking about the joy humans experience when we find things, and how few findings are negative, and that finding something is generally the opposite emotional reaction of losing something. What she's really going to go into in this section, I know from the dust jacket and from hearing her talk about this book, is that she met her partner while her dad was dying. And so it's like that juxtaposition of like how humans are capable of feeling so many things at the same time when you're pre-grieving a parent's death at the same time that you're falling in love. What? I've just started that section. I think I'm about halfway through the book. It's not very long. And then, so I have like just shy of 100 pages, maybe like 90 pages left of this section. And then there's one more section called And, which I think might be about the birth of her first child, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm guessing. But I will update as I continue to go. But I am loving this just as much as I thought I was going to. I am only reading it physically. I debated getting the audiobook because I think she reads it and I liked her so much on the podcast, but I'm in a really weird space with audiobooks right now, and I don't want the audiobook to shift my rating, so I'm just going to keep reading it physically, and that's just kind of where I am right now. I did get book mail today, which was very exciting because it is book 3 in a trilogy that I am loving, and it does not get the appropriate attention that it deserves. I think this is St. Martin's, it said St. Martin's Press, but it's tor.com, so who knows. But it's The Memory of the Ojisi by Moses Ose Utomi. This is the Forever Desert trilogy. Oh, I love this series so much. And now my battle is, do I abandon everything and start the final book, which I'm kind of afraid to start it because I just don't know what Utomi is going to do in this book. His writing is phenomenal. He is vastly underread. More people need to be reading him. The book 1 is The Lies of the Ajungo. It's on my shelf. I'm not going to go get it. But anyways, I've been obsessed with this series. I was so thrilled that Tora sent me a finished copy of book 3. The other reason I'm maybe won't start it right away is that it is on my bingo board for my book series bingo, and so I probably shouldn't read it until I start another episode of that. So I might be starting another episode of that sooner than I had planned to, so I can read this because I'm so excited. Yeah, that's it. That's how it's going today. I am done with work for today, and now I get to start my second job of the day, which is driving my children around to all their activities. I've been joking that I need to quit my job because during the summer, driving the kids around is my full-time job. But yeah, I have a little bit, so I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna read some more. And hopefully, I think this section will be a little bit more joyful. So I don't think I'll get as weepy, but who knows? All right, now the two questions you may be asking yourself is, one, does Emily record in any other spot during the summer? No, I don't. This is it. This is the only background you're gonna get until everyone goes back to school. The second question you might be asking yourself is it still hot? It's cooler today, but it is still too hot to turn off the fan. And as much as I enjoy talking to you all, I am not going to sweat for you all. So here we are. I did finish Lost and Found earlier this afternoon, and I really liked this. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. The third section wasn't about having children. At the time that she wrote this book, they were expecting their first child. And when I listened to the interview, that child was like 2, maybe 3 years old. So I think I just got the interview conflated with the book a little bit. But the third section really does talk about the and of human experiences. She goes into it talking about how up until the late 19th century, the Western alphabet, the English alphabet, ended with and. It was W, X, Y, Z, and then the ampersand, the sign for and what that meant in terms of language and why that ended up going away, but how much and there is for humans in our emotions and our experiences just in life. And I really love the way Kathryn Schultz writes. She is a beautiful writer. It's some of the most stunning sentences. It's really lyrical and poetic, but still gets her point across very efficiently, I think. And I just found her writing so unbelievably beautiful. And the way she wrote about her wife was unbelievably romantic. Like, oh my God. When I am looking for sapphic or lesbian romance, like, I have never read a fictional romance that is as romantically written as the way Kathryn Schultz talks about her wife. Never. So I need all romance authors who are going to do 2 women falling in love. You need to read how Kathryn Schultz writes about loving her wife and take notes, because it is perfection. It's so romantic and beautiful and heartfelt. And the only reason this is not a 5 is, unfortunately, that middle section was not as engaging for me as the first section. And I am sad to say that I found her explorations of grief and loss and what that means more engaging and enthralling than I found her thoughts on falling in love. Even though I loved what she had to say and I totally agreed with her on so many things, I just found that part not slow. I don't know. It just didn't hit the same way that the first section hit. But then I really loved the third section. And the third section, I think, is the shortest of the sections. And I think the second section is the longest. So I guess that makes sense. But I really liked all the things she had to say in the last one when she's talking about and just the language of it and what it means practically, philosophically, and just it was great. It was great. I really liked it. And I'll probably be thinking about it for a very long time. So highly recommend it if you want. I guess it's kind of memoir, nonfiction. But now I need to figure out what I'm reading next. Because like I said, I just finished that. Kids are watching a movie. I don't really know that I want to watch the movie that they're watching. They're watching Nimona, which I love. Like, great, fantastic movie. Absolutely. Like, 5-star movie. I just don't know that I'm in the mood to watch anything at the moment. So I need to figure out what I'm reading, if I'm going to go back to Tusk Love. I definitely do not want to pick a Priory right now. Or for my stack of possibilities, I've been eyeing Hio the Hellmaker, which is YA, and it's an illustrated novel. My oldest read this and absolutely loved it and wants me to read it. It's chunky, but it's illustrated and it's YA, so I think it'll be a relatively fast read. So that's kind of calling to me. I'm also, oh no, my books are stuck together. Oh, I gotta de-sticky that book. I'm also toying with the idea of The Witness for the Dead by Catherine Addison. I pulled this out of my TBR jar for this month. And I know this will be like a slower kind of fantasy. But I know the writing will be good. And even though it won't be a quick read, even though it's short, I don't think it's going to be a quick read. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards this. Is that all that's calling to me at the moment? I think so. And then Tusk Love, I feel like I really need to give a fair shake, because I'm only reading it at bedtime is not helping me. I'm debating with starting over again, even though I'm already 48 pages in. I don't know if now is the time to do that, but it could be. I could do that while the kids are watching. Debated checking to see if the audiobook is available and seeing if maybe if the narrator's voice for, I forgot this character's name, for Guinevere is better than the voice that I have in my head. Maybe that could help if I got like a different thing going on. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I want to do. I don't know what I want. I don't know what the right choice is. I just want to read something that I can love, like fiction that I can love. I feel like my picker for nonfiction is so good, and I wish my fiction picker was as reliable as that one is, but so far it's not, and I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure what I want to do. So I'm gonna go flail in private like I do, and I will update you all tomorrow with what I pick. Tomorrow I don't have to teach until the afternoon, so I'm looking forward to having a slow, relaxing, peaceful morning. Maybe reading out in the hammock, because I have not been out in the hammock hardly at all this week because of how hot it's been, and there's really no shade in our backyard until the evening, and then the bugs come out, so it's been a whole situation. But I am desperate for some hammock reading time, so I think that's definitely gonna be on the schedule for tomorrow. Hello friends, it is Friday. We had a really lovely slow morning of just doing various like arts and crafts around the house, and I did restart Tusk Love last night, and I am now a lot farther than I was before. I'm now 172 pages in, which yesterday I was like at 48 before I restarted it. So I am now having a much more fun time with this book than I was beforehand. I am enjoying Guinevere's personality and character a lot more, and I just absolutely adore Oscar with my whole heart. This is very much a road trip story as Oscar and Guinevere are trying to get back to the city that her parents are at, and they are falling in love amongst the way, but it's very much like a high adventure story, and I love a road trip. I love high adventure. This is like, I'm having so much fun with this, and it is surprisingly steamy for, I don't know why surprisingly. I I guess maybe not surprisingly. I should have known this was going to be steamy, but it's steamy and not, but I really like the steamy scenes. They're not cringy. Oscar does have a nickname for Guinevere. Well, he does have a nickname for Guinevere. He calls her princess, but I feel like it's used very sparingly, which is great. He has called her sweetheart a couple times, which I don't like as much, but it's so fun. And I don't have that much more to go. So it's a very quick read. Chapters are so short, which is great. I actually listened to it on audio until like the 85 page mark. So I just flew past where I had been before I restarted it. And it's a duet audiobook. Is that what it's called? Where there's a narrator for each of the main characters and they alternate, but when Oscar speaks in Guinevere's POV, the narrator reading Oscar's POV does Oscar's lines. And I really like that. I don't love the narrator for Oscar. His voice just doesn't match up with what I had in my head, but I love the narrator for Guinevere. So that's kind of all I needed. Because I was struggling with liking Guinevere, I needed her narrator to fix that for me. And I'd already was liking Oscar a lot. So it doesn't bother me that his voice doesn't match up. I just needed Guinevere's to match up. It's a great time, and I'm hoping to read more. And yeah, we're just having a slow Friday before I have to go teach this afternoon. But it's a great time so far. So my oldest and I just walked down to our local art store. They just moved locations and now they're closer to our house. So it's like a 10-minute walk, which is dangerous. But we went and got some stuff. My oldest got a new coloring book and then some pens that they needed. And then I got stickers for my reading journal for August because I got to start thinking about what I want my August spread to look like. It's just crazy that I have to start thinking about that already. So yeah, I'm going to go. Actually, I'm probably going to go edit a little bit because I haven't really edited any of this vlog and I have to figure out what video is going up on Sunday, if it's going to be this one or if I'm going to record something else in the next 2 days to go up instead. I used to plan ahead so far with my videos and be like a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and this month I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants. And so yeah, I should probably get back on it, but I'm kind of liking this like loosey-goosey mood posting thing that I've got going on. But anyways, I gotta go figure my life out a little bit. Happy Saturday, friends. I finished Tusk Love last night and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I had a really fun time with this. I think this is a really great high stakes, low stress type of book because for Guinevere and Oscar, obviously the stakes are pretty high and there's like a lot of action in the back half of this book. They're fighting off mercenaries and bandits, and then there's the battle with the bad guy, like the big bad guy. And so while that's all really exciting and high stakes and fast paced, I think because of the nature of the book and like what genre it is, you know everything's gonna work out fine. So it was fun to have like all that action and all that adventure, but know that like nothing irreversible was going to happen to the main characters. And honestly, I kind of needed that right now. So I'm really glad that I restarted this because I did grow to like Guinevere so much. Her character grew on me a lot. And I think I was taking it too seriously when I started it because I'm coming off of Summerween and reading a lot of grim horror novels where nothing good happens to anybody and none of them really have had happy endings. And so like I was coming off of reading a bunch of really serious books and I just haven't read a fun, lighthearted book in a while, or at least not one that I enjoyed a lot. So I think I just went into it in the wrong mindset. And so restarting it and actively reminding myself, this is supposed to be fun, this is supposed to be lighthearted, this is not supposed to be serious, I'm not supposed to take this seriously. It really helped. It just helped me get out of my own way, which is great, which I need to do more often than not. So I really like this and I would recommend it. And now I really want to pick up Hurricane Wars because I really liked the author's writing and I love how she built the romance. I think she did such a great job. Like, this is not a long book, but the progression of Oscar and Guinevere falling in love felt so natural and well paced. And even though they don't know each other for very long, I felt like they gained a lot of emotional intimacy with each other before the physical intimacy kicked in, which I love. That's all I ever want. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the vlog here because it is Saturday and I have not in fact filmed anything else for tomorrow, so I need to edit this vlog and get it up so you have something to watch. And I also have reading that I need to start for other projects, so that is a plan. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I really appreciate it. If you want to leave an emoji to let me know you are here, I guess we'll do a sword emoji or a dice emoji. I don't know which one there is, but you can check. Pick whichever one there is. And then go ahead and like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!